Hi, I'm Steve Stewart. This is my website here across the bottom of the screen. Stop by and have a look around. There are email links on virtually every page. So come by, take a look, and tell us what you think. One time I was shopping in a bookstore here in the town where I live, and as I walked between the shelves looking for a particular couple of books, a sales clerk, fairly new on the job, came by and said, "Are you finding what you're looking for? Can I help you find anything?" And I said, "Well, sure. I'm looking for books on the subjects of forgiveness and grace and teen suicide." I think she was a little taken back by the combination, but she nodded her head, said, "All right, let me have a look and see what I can find. I'll be right back." Well, she came back in a few minutes and actually had a couple of pretty good candidates that she brought with her, a couple of good books on those subjects. I was impressed. I was impressed that she really heard what I had to say, and I was impressed that she knew her store's inventory well enough in just a couple of days to go specifically to find what she was looking for, what I was looking for. So she handed it to me. I thanked her, and she said, do you mind if I ask why those three subjects?" That's a pretty good question for somebody new on the job working minimum wage in a bookstore. I thought that was a good question. So I said, "Well, sure, I'm a public speaker. I talk to high school and middle school aged teenagers about the subject of prevention of teen suicide. My passion for that subject comes from the fact that that's how I lost my son when he was 19 and committed suicide." And I sensed that there was another story behind her question. So I asked her, "Do you mind?" It's my turn. I said, do you mind if I ask why you asked?" And she said, "Well," she said, "when I was in high school, I hit a rough patch of time, and when things were going so badly, she said, I decided that the only solution to my problem was to kill myself, and I planned to commit suicide." And then, listen to this, she had a means, she had the method, she knew how she was going to do it, she knew where she was going to do it, she had a plan, and part of her plan included a date. On this date, that is the date she's going to take her life. It was going to be on a Friday, after school, before her parents came home. And she's not unusual. Typically a high school teacher looking at an average class of 25 students every year is looking into the eyes of someone who has a specific written plan for how they're going to end their life, because life is just, they figured, not worth living. So, but she said, that last week, during that last week, a speaker came to her school, and she said something that he said made a difference to me and changed my mind. I realized that I didn't have to die. And then she said, "Oh, I know where there's another book," and then she scooted off to another part of the store. And right now you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, right? Just what is it that this person said that made all the difference to her? The words, whatever he said, made a difference in her complete life orientation toward focused on death on Friday, and turned it around to I don't have to die at all. Knowing those words, whatever it is he said, could make a major difference to somebody like myself. So I couldn't wait for her to come back. Within a couple of minutes, she was back again, had another pretty good candidate, another good book that applied to what I was looking for. And I said, "I don't mean to pry, but if you don't mind, would you mind telling me what it is he said that made such a difference to you, that changed your outlook on life?" And she said, "Well," I'd heard it before, I suppose. My parents had said it, my friends or family had said it, but the difference is that when this speaker said it that day, the difference is that I really believed him. I really believed him. I thought it was true, and I realized that I didn't have to die. What is it he said? She said, "Well, he told me that I mattered. That I mattered. That I counted. That the world needed somebody like me. That in this big jigsaw puzzle in the world, there's this little bitty piece that's shaped just like me, and I'm the only one who can fill that space perfectly, and that I didn't have to die." Now, isn't it interesting that we all need to hear that? In particular, the children for whom we are responsible. For the students in our classes, the kids in our group, the teenagers in our youth groups, in our churches, the people for whom we have a responsibility need to hear that. Just stop sometime, completely out of context, and just look them in the eye and say, "You matter. You make a difference. The world needs you, and the world needs what it is you're going to contribute here. And if you don't do it, It just won't happen, and we need you. Well, like I say, this is my domain here, my website here across the bottom of the screen. Have a look around and see what you think. And by the way, I'm always looking for other groups of high school and middle school age teenagers to speak to, because suicide is the number 3 cause of death among teenagers. In some areas, it's number 2. I live in San Diego County, and it's number 2 for teenagers, beaten only by auto accidents. So have a look around. Let me know what you think. Thank you.